So I was discussing that the column dimension also depends on the fire resistance. Now here, if it's fully exposed fire, now what does a fully exposed fire mean? It means you have a column which is exposed to fire on all sides. There is fire on this side, there is fire on this side, there is fire here, there is fire here. This is what a fully exposed fire would mean. Now, when would this be the case? There is fire on all the four sides. When would this be the case? This would be a case, for example, this is a central column here. There is a central column around here in the hall, and there is a fire in the hall. All around this hall, there is a fire. Then this column would be totally exposed on all four sides to the fire. Now, there is also a case where it's 50% exposed to fire, and then there is a one face exposed to fire. That's what is so that case would be if there is a column, for example, somewhere here. Now this column here, this would have 50% exposed to the fire. 50% is towards outside, and when 50% is towards outside, you only have two faces, 50% of the faces exposed to the inner fire, and we're assuming that there is no fire on the outer side at that moment of time. And then the third case is when you have one face exposed to the fire, and you can likewise imagine how that would be a case. For example, you have a column which has only one face towards the inner side or towards the room in which there is a fire. And then can we have the mics muted if you don't have any questions? So in all these cases, what is the column dimension that's to be taken? The minimum column, this is a minimum column dimension, B or D. Now, B or D, whatever is giving the designation, that does not matter. It's the least minimum column dimension. It has to be fire resistance. Now, again, up till 4 hours, fire resistance would mean a good fire resistance. 4 घंटे तक it would be exposed to a fire and it does not fail. Now, a half-hour fire resistance would mean that it is exposed to the fire for half an hour and it's failing after half an hour. So, likewise, if it's increasing to 4 hours, the column dimensions would increase. तो हम कितना fire resistance column की ले? That would depend upon, then there is one more code that's known as NBC code, National Building Code. It depends upon that. And the National Building Code, what is given to you is, now there is a volume, probably 15 or SP15, which I remember, in the National Building Code that you have to implement while designing the columns as well. And for fire resistance, what does it say? It says that once you are designing the columns, you need to take into account what type of building class you are designing. One is designing. So there is a building class 1, 2, 3, and based on that, you have different fire ratings. There is no half-hour rating in NBC. There is 1 hour rating there, fire rating, and it is up till 3R ratings. From 1R to 3R ratings, fire ratings is given in the National Building Code. So thereby, you will have, there was a break in the audio. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
So you have in the National Building Code, you have 1R to 3R fire ratings. As per that, if you now implement that, it would be, if you have fully exposed column, it would be 200 till 400, the minimum column dimension. So generally we would take 200 to 400 the column dimension. So as per this, as per the fire requirements given in IS 456, and then also implementing the National Building Code of India, wherein you are taking the fire rating from 1 hour till 3 hours, you require a minimum fire dimension, the dimension of the column to be 200 mm till 400 mm for a fully exposed condition. We are taking that. So this tells you, now there are two things. First, we decided based on the this formula given by the code, L max as per is equal to 60D. Now, why is there is a limit? ये limit क्यों है? L max corresponding 60D. There is a this is a limit. Now, this limit is based on that you cannot have a slenderness ratio far greater than 60 times. So a slenderness ratio cannot be 60 or more. So this is the maximum limit of the slenderness. So that's why this comes to around. Then the second is based on the fire rating of the column. As per that, it's coming out to be 200 to 400 mm. Now the third thing on which we are deciding the dimension of the column is slenderness itself. But whether you are making it a long or short column, do you want it to be a long column or a short column? I discussed this last time. What do we prefer? Do we prefer a long or a short column? Yes,
Short, sir.
short. A short column. We prefer a short column. Now, is preferred. And why is it preferred? It's preferred because we do not want the column to buckle. We want it to undergo a ductile mode of failure, wherein you have the longitudinal bars and the rings acting such that it's collapsing in a ductile mode and it's not buckling. We do not want that to be predominant mode of failure. But we can keep it somewhere in between a long column or a short column. We can keep it somewhere in between. Now, if the height of the building is, say, it was 3.5 meters, and we wanted it to be a short column, then L by D ratio would have been less than 12. For example, if we want, first of all, calculate at 12, and 3.5 meter or 3500, it would be then equal to 12 by D would be equal to 12. That would mean D is equal to 3500 by 12, and that is how much? 291.6 mm. So if we want it to be somewhere in between a long and a short column, I am taking it at 12, and in that case, the depth, the minimum depth that's coming out, so depth or the width, whatever you want to call it, you have a column which has a cross section, एक depth है दूसरी width है, तो that would be 291.6. तो दूसरा side column का it has to be at least 291.6. इसका, if I want, what I want to say is, if this is D, it's 291.6. The other side, this is a minimum dimension. The other side, this width has to be at least or greater than 291.6 mm. Then it would become, if it's greater than 291.6 and this is 291.6, it would become a rectangular column. So then you also have to check whether you're taking the slenderness in both the directions, which I told you last time. It's Lx by d would be one slenderness, and Ly by w would be another slenderness. So you would have to check the dimensions in both the directions if you want to implement this method. So this is the third thing. Depending upon you prefer it to be a short column or somewhere in between a long or a short column. Then the fourth thing would be dependent on the load itself. Load, which is P. Now, how would you first of all calculate the dimension of the column as per the load? Now that's given in the code. Now, limit state of collapse, which we are implementing here, the maximum compressive strain is 0.002, and the maximum compressive strain at highly compressed extreme fiber in concrete subject to axial compression and bending, when it's also undergoing bending through buckling, then it's 0.0035 minus 0.75 times the strain at least. Not going into that in detail right now. Minimum eccentricity we have already discussed. Now this is the formula from 39.3 that you have to implement. Short axially loaded members in compression. The member shall be designed by considering the assumptions given in 39.1. These are the two assumptions that we have taken. And the minimum eccentricity. When the minimum eccentricity as per 25.4 does not exceed 0.05 times the lateral dimension, जो हमने minimum eccentricity अभी 0.05 times the lateral dimension और 20 mm जो हमने लिया, the members may be designed by the following equation. When the minimum eccentricity जो 20 mm हमने लिया या L by 500 plus D by 30 लिया, if it's not exceeding 0.05 times the lateral dimension, the members may be designed by the following equation. Now this is the equation as per which you have to go for the design of the member section. So P will be the actual load acting on the member, which is the column. FCK is the characteristic compressive strength of the concrete of which the column is made. Uski FCK, its characteristic compressive strength. A is the area of the concrete. So area of the concrete you don't know until you know not dimensions. जब तक आपको नहीं पता है, you will not know the area of the concrete. But if it's a rectangular column, it will be B into D or W into D, जो भी आप designation लोगे. So Fy is the characteristic strength of the compression reinforcement and area of the longitudinal reinforcement. Now this is a complete formula. It's valid once you know the area of the concrete that you want, for which you are actually designing. So before going into that, then you also have a formula for compression members with helical reinforcement. The strength of the compression members with helical reinforcement when you have a circular column shall be taken as 1.05 times the strength of similar member with lateral dia. So in this case, when you have a helical, यही formula होगी, but in this formula you would have to multiply it by this. You have to multiply by 1.05 when you have a helical reinforcement. ये पूरा brackets में है, and then multiplied whole by 1.05. This is what is the formula valid when you have a helical 1.5 times the strength of the similar member with lateral ties. So then there is also a combination of members which are subject to axial loading and uniaxial bending. Then the formulas change. when the members are subjected to combined axial load plus biaxial bending, हमने दोनों चीजें पढ़ी अभी तक, eccentric, uniaxial eccentric and biaxial eccentric. So all the formulas are then detailed here. Finally, the slender compression members, उसकी formula यहाँ पर दी हुई है. When it's not a short column, these were all short axial loaded columns. This is short column, this is short column, this is short column. Now when the case is quite complicated, when you are designing a slender compression member, then you would have additional moments there, and those additional moments max, may shall be calculated as per these given here. Now these additional secondary moments, they happen due to the deflection or the uh, buckling of the column plus the lateral deflections of the column. So finally, you would have to design for the shear, the ties. So before going into that, let me now first of all, based on the load, now what is the expected load? For example, you have an expected load of 35 kilonewton, 100 kilonewton on the column. Now what would be the stress for which you are designing? What would be the maximum stress for which you are designing? If you are only taking the concrete, not the steel at the moment, the stress would be, for example, you are designing in M30, then it would be, अगर आपने M30 में design किया, then this would be, stress would be 30 Newton per mm square. Then in that case, what stress is always equal to P by A. So you can just assume, although this is just an assumption that all the load, compression load, is being taken by the concrete at the present. Then this would be 3500 into 10 raised to power 3 divided by 30. Then this, from here you would get 116666 mm square. So that's 341. This is mm square. अगर मैं square column देता हूँ, in a square column, B in, or you can say D into D, both sides are would be equal to the area above. Say it's A, it's 116666. So how much would D then be? D would be 341.5 mm. So now I am getting a much clearer picture from here that at least my D should be somewhere in between. इतना नहीं चाहिए हमें. This is the maximum concrete area you require. This is the maximum here. Remember, this is whatever you are getting from here. This is the maximum concrete area that we require. And these were the minimum values. This was minimum as per the consideration of the slenderness. As per the consideration of the fire resistance, the minimum was this 200 to 300, 400 for different fire ratings. And as per the consideration of whether it not being, आप सिलेंडर ही मान लो, लेकिन maximum limit 58.33. So now what do we get? This concrete dimension, column dimension, should now be somewhere between this, इसके बीच में और इनके बीच में, 200 till 400 or 200. This is minimum 291 for slender, the short column. So if we are designing a short column, it has to be somewhere in between 291 and 341. So thereby our column would have we can now assume. Now this is based on assumption. We are first of all assuming, but assumption is also based on certain facts now. Assuming column dimension to be 300 mm. Now there is something which we have not discussed here, which is as per IS 1893, which is earthquake code. Because whenever you design a column, later on you will come to know from the earthquake code that minimum you have to provide 300 mm, come what may. Minimum you have to provide 300 mm for a column dimension. Minimum dimension has to be minimum 300 mm as per the earthquake code. Why so? Because the lateral dimension of the column is very important during an earthquake. So minimum has been fixed at 300 mm as per the earthquake code. Now thereby, whenever you go for a design, how much is 300 mm in inch and feet? Yes. .8 inch, that's 0.98 feet. That's around so 300 mm is around 11.8 inch, which is around 0.98 feet. Now जब भी हम डिजाइन करते हैं कॉलम्स, इट्स वेरी इजी फॉर द कंस्ट्रक्शन टीम टू वर्क ऑन फीट के हिसाब से वो डायमेंशंस मेजर करते हैं. तो दे यूजुअली गो लाइक आप 0.25 फीट लो, 1 फीट लो, 1.5 फीट लो. And I have seen many constructions happening which are they are taking 9 inch कॉलम. कहते हैं लोड उतना नहीं है, 9 इंच का कॉलम बहुत. they calculate this from this formula, the load वहां पर ज्यादा नहीं होगा, and they calculate वो 9 इंच का कॉलम ले लेते हैं. But as per earthquake code, you cannot take a 9 inch column. You have to at least take 11.9 inch column. So that's around 300 mm. So you have to at least go for a 1 feet column as per the earthquake considerations. Thereby, when we are designing the column dimension, now it is generally taken that the least column dimension you have to take is 300 mm or 1 feet, at least 1 feet, and 1 feet would be around 305 mm. That would be around 305 mm is the least column dimension that you would generally prefer while designing the column. The least column dimension has to be this. Whether you are taking a rectangular column or you are designing this is a rectangular column. Now this side has to be at least 305 mm, and the other side would naturally then be greater than 305 mm. Now if you're designing a circular column, again you would prefer it to be this. Code says 300 mm, but as per the construction requirements, it then comes out to be around 305 mm. This diameter of the column then comes to be 305 mm for a circular column. But there is one more thing now. When you have a rectangular column, you are getting two faces of the column in the rectangular column. Again, as per the requirements, as per the convention, जैसे कि आपने beams में follow किया, You do not keep one dimension of the column. Just a minute. So the column dimension, that one dimension is 305 mm. What should be the other dimension then? What is the other dimension that we take? It should not increase 1.5 times the other dimension. Now, if this is D, then your W is maximum. This is maximum. And I have seen people going till 2 times D as well, but it's not a preferred thing to do. Then this also depends upon one more thing, that is it depends upon what is the aspect ratio of the building. For example, this is a building. Its columns would be like this, because you have a greater load on one side and lesser load on the other side. So its columns would also be in the direction. Then in that case, first of all, you have to check how much is the ratio between these sides of the building. Now, for example, this side is 40 meter and this side is 10 meters. Then you have a ratio of 4:1 between the two. Then the column, because it's D square, area of the column. When you have a moment of inertia for the column, moment of inertia of a particular column would be BD cube by 12. In that case, your depth of the column, why are we calculating the moment of inertia? I discussed this when we were talking about the beams, that it depends on the stiffness. Now these columns are offering stiffness here in this building. So the dimension of the column would be decided by this formulation, BD cube by 12. And in that case, the depth of the column has to be around cube root of uh, cube root of this, that is, say, 4, which was the ratio between the sides of the column. So it would be around 1.2 or something like that. So in that case, it's almost always that maximum you can keep 1.5 the ratio between the column sides. But there are designers who go for 2 times as well, but it's not preferred as in the earthquake scenario that you keep one of the dimensions longer than the other dimension. It's a good thing to have a square column, but it's economical to have a rectangular column at times. A rectangular column with the maximum limitation of 1.5 D is feasible column, which would both become economical as well as offer a large amount of stiffness. Then in case of circular column, you may have further circular columns like these, which are hollow ones. Now, this is made totally of steel, the outer ring, and the inner one is made up of concrete, the RC concrete. Right now, we are only discussing about a solid circular column. This is a solid circular column which is totally made up of RC concrete. So this is how the dimensions of the column are first of all calculated. So there are three dimensions of the column. There is a width, there is a depth, and then there is a height. Now height is mostly decided by what is your floor area, and you can have a bracing in the column if the height is becoming too large, which is making the width and the depth larger as well. जो जो आपकी height बढ़ती जाएगी, you would also have width and as well as the depth of the column becoming large. So for example, if you have a column which is too large, too high, what you can do is that there could be bracings applied. Bracing is something like this, which which connect the columns. Now, what happens due to bracings is that there is a decrease in the effective length. These braces may be a steel brace, which are given between the columns. They are connected here through bolts. There would be bolts here. It would be bolted here. These braces would be bolted into the column. This is generally done in steel columns, but you can also do it in reinforced concrete columns with steel braces being applied. In this case, the effective length almost decreases by 2, that's by half. And the effective length is decreasing to half. And when you have an effective length decreasing to half, the slenderness ratio, you would have more accommodation of the slenderness ratio. So the dimension of the column could be decreased. The lateral dimension of the column could be decreased. That's D as well as W could be decreased when you brace the columns. Now, there are different methods of bracing the columns. That was one method. You could have a brace somewhat like this. And have a brace starting from the center somewhere here. So then you would have a floor here, and it's the braces are connecting at the top with the floor. So there are various ways of bracing of the columns, and this is done to decrease the effective length of the columns. So this was about the dimensions of the column. Next time we would be discussing about the next step, which is the reinforcement in the columns, and then we would be taking a design example to solve for the columns. Anybody who has any